Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, speaking to you from Efrat, Israel. I'm going to speak about the Torah reading this week, which is Parsha Pikudei. It's the last Parsha in the book of Shemot. And I'm going to be talking about the concept of finding light concealed in the darkness. We look at our lives, and unfortunately, there are many difficult things happening in our lives right now. Certainly here in Israel, where we're fighting an existential battle for our very existence. And not only in Israel, but throughout the world. Every Jew in the world has specific challenges. And we have our troubles. And we tend to see only darkness. We tend to let the darkness of our troubles overwhelm us, so that we can't see and understand that within this darkness, no matter how dark it seems to you, the light of God is present. That is demonstrated in this week's Parsha, and it's also told to us by King Davidovich. Davidovich in Psalm 147 says, "Hamachasa shemayim ba'avim," that God covers the heavens with clouds. Hamechil la'aretz mator. And you think these clouds are only a bad sign, but no. David HaMelech tells us God is covering these skies with clouds to prepare the earth for rain. Looking at clouds, looking at darkness can seem somewhat ominous. But actually, we see that there is divine light in all of the darkness, and that ultimately, the darkness is a temporary concealment from our eyes when God is preparing the world to be fit with an abundant shower of blessings. Now we see in this week's Parsha, the very last sentence says, Ki anan Hashem al hamishkan b'chol ma'aseyam, that the cloud of God was covering the tabernacle for all the journeys of the Jewish people. And again, you might think, what does that mean, that cloud covering the tabernacle? And we are told that what this means, it wasn't a sign of darkness. In fact, the cloud was a sign of the special protection that God gives to the Jewish people. And when it says it's covering the Mishkan, the tabernacle, what is the job of the Jew? What do we have to do to be able to have this special protection, this special light of God protecting us? And the sentence in Pikudei says it covers the tabernacle. You remember, God said to us, "V'asuli mikdash v'shechanti b'socha." You shall make a tabernacle, and I will dwell in your midst. What does that mean? Oh, you make a tabernacle, and I will dwell in your midst? Meaning that when we make ourselves holy, When we make ourselves like a Migdash Katan, a small tabernacle, there is a place to allow the presence of God to fill our surroundings, to fill ourselves. We just have to let God in. There is no commandment that is more prevalent in the Torah than the commandment of Kadoshim to you. Make yourself holy, because I am holy, God says to the Jewish people. The commandment of holiness is repeated numerous times. And of course the question is, how does a human being make oneself holy? We're just flesh and blood. What can we do to reach a level of holiness? And the Netivot Shalom says many times, he says, Kadesh atzmacha b'ma shemuter lecha. Make yourself holy with those things that are permitted. What does that mean? It means that everything you do in this life, whether you're eating food, whether you're going to work, raise it up to a higher level. You're not eating food just to satisfy your gustatory delights. You're not eating food just to serve your body, but you're raising the level of eating food to serve your soul. And in the darkness that we sometimes see, we have to realize that God is found there. As we're also taught in the Torah, Moshe Allah Elohim, Moshe Allah Elohim, v'motzah Hashem. God I read the word wrong, excuse me. Moshe Nigash El Arafel. Moshe went into the Arafel, Asher Shamu Elohim, where God was. What is Arafel? There are three types of darkness. Arafel is a kind of darkness that is the thickest darkness. It's a darkness that you can feel. And Moshe went into that darkness, and that's where God was. We see that what seemed to be the greatest darkness was really concealing the greatest light of God. And we have to realize that when we're in darkness, we have to open our eyes and look through the darkness and see the light of God that is waiting there to shine upon us. And in this parsha where it says, he will cover the Mishkan, the tabernacle, for all the journeys of the Jews in the wilderness after they left Egypt. There were 42 journeys, and the commentators say that this represents the 42 journeys that every human being has to go through his life until he finally reaches the ultimate place where he's meant to be, returning the soul back to God. God is telling us that these journeys that you're going through may be difficult, and you may not see any light in where you're going. You may not have any optimism, but you should always have optimism. We should always know that if you will make yourself holy, make yourself a true receptacle for the presence of God, God will be with you and guide you through, help you get through every single place of your life, through every single test of your life. You will be able, by taking this message to heart, to dispel the darkness in your life and to access the light that is always there. The light of God is shining on us, and the shmira of God, the protection of God, is on his people at all times. Thank you for listening on behalf of webyeshiva.org. I wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom.